I honestly think that the ghost followed me to the new home and we caught it on camera. It's time we talk about it. I told you guys that I would never speak of this again until I moved out of my old home. This is also the second time that I tried to film this video. The first time I went back to the old home, filmed the entire video, came home. I was like, let me send this video over to my editor so he can start editing and we can post it as soon as possible. My entire video was corrupted. I wasn't really stressing about it because this has happened to me before and I'm able to fix it, but this time I couldn't. I called Jason over so he can come and help me. He tries to help me, but he tells me the video is gone, like there's nothing we can do. The entire video is corrupted. At this point, I'm sitting at my desk thinking to myself, maybe this is a sign. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it. Maybe I shouldn't be bringing this up anymore. So I do just that. A few days pass by, I'm getting DMs, comments everywhere I post. Pita, we need an update. We want an update. What happened? We need to know. We want to know. So here we are attempting to do this for the second time and hopefully everything goes well. I'm going to go very briefly over everything from beginning to the last video that I posted. If you want full details on everything, I will leave a video linked down below, and I will also be letting you know everything that we experienced after the last video that I posted. Now this all started, I want to say 4 to 5 years ago when me and Jason bought our first home. We were so excited, so happy, over the moon. This was such a big accomplishment for us. So at the time it was me, Jason, and my older son Liam. We moved into the home, everything was well until suddenly my son Liam started acting a little strange. It just happened from one day to another. He started being so scared of everything. He was scared of being alone, going upstairs by himself. Then I started to feel weird. I wasn't feeling myself. I was feeling so unmotivated and I started experiencing sleep paralysis. That's when I knew that something wasn't right, and it just seemed like the sleep paralysis was getting worse. And if you have never experienced sleep paralysis, I'm going to try to describe it for you, but it's by far one of the worst feelings ever. I remember I would be laying down in bed and I would open my eyes and it would just feel like my entire body was glued down to the bed and I could not speak and I could not move. I would close my eyes, open them, and I was still in sleep paralysis. It got to the point, guys, where I was so scared to go to sleep. It got so bad that I decided to call a priest to come bless the house because it was just getting out of control. So after the priest blessed the house, it did help a little, but there were still things happening around the house. I remember one time we were having a family gathering and Jason's niece came downstairs to tell her mom that she had heard someone whistle at her in Liam's room. A lot of these things I would say would happen in Liam's room, or Liam himself would experience things. He also one time was in his room. Well, at the beginning he was in the living room and he said that the TV shut off, and then he went upstairs to his room and he ran to my beauty room because he said that he heard someone. I told Jason immediately. Me and Jason are going back and forth. Who's gonna go check Liam's room? And then all of a sudden, as we're going back and forth, the living room TV just suddenly turns on by itself at full blast and Peppa Pig starts playing on the TV. I also remember one time I was driving Liam to school, and as he was in the car seat as I was driving, I made a stop at a red light and all I heard Liam say was, "Ow, that hurt." I immediately turned around and I asked Liam what happened, and he tells me that the monster pulled his hair. With all of this happening in the house, we decide to do our research, but we have no luck in finding anything. But one day Jason decides to fly his drone and Jason sees a piece of land surrounded by fence. Now Jason keeps insisting that he knows that is something there, and he finally finds out that it is a cemetery that is super close to our house. Now it turns out that a man in the 1800s bought all the land where our community was built. He had a home there, and he told his family that whenever he passed away, he wanted to be buried by his home, which is why there was a cemetery there. Now, when we discovered all of this, Jason decided to go into the home and into some sheds that we found because he wanted to take a look inside. After the last video that I posted, I was still experiencing things in the house, but I just decided that I didn't want to talk about it until I completely moved out of the house. Number one, I didn't want to be scared of being in my own home, and I've always told myself, like, Pita, you're not really seeing this, you're not really hearing this, but I would just think to myself, if I ignore it, it'll go away. But since I'm no longer in the home, I can tell you guys a few of the things that happened to us in our home. I remember very vividly one time Jason was in the room with Kaden, and I would always hear Kaden say Pkwy, and Pkwy, if you don't know Spanish, in English it means monster. I would always hear him say Pkwy, but I would never really think anything of it until one day Jason showed me the video that he took of Kaden. So Kaden would point to the opposite side of the room saying Pkwy. He would say that the monster was in the room.
Where? Show me. Where? Where? I don't see anything. There's nothing there. Okay, I'm leaving. There's nothing there, Papa. Pkwy?
When I saw that video, it really worried me a little bit because at the beginning you'll see that he's so scared. Like, he says Pkwy with such a fear, and it just makes me wonder, like, what did he see? We would also hear so many noises during the day, during the night, midday, just random noises all the time. I remember particularly that day where I heard that noise. I spent hours, kid you not, maybe 2 hours. I opened every closet, every door, every cabinet, trying to look what fell. Did I misplace something and it fell down? Did something break? I even went up into the attic. I went everywhere, guys. Everywhere. Nothing was broken, nothing was misplaced. Everything was how I would always have it. And that was just one of the times that the camera caught it. But I would always hear like noises in the roof, Sometimes I would be alone at the house and it would almost sound like someone was walking on the roof. I would always tell Jason to check the attic. You guys have no idea how many times Jason would have to go upstairs to check the attic. Like, so many noises would come from the roof and the attic, or just random places in the house. We would always get motion notifications from Ring from the garage. I'm gonna play this clip so you can see yourself. A lot of the times I would think it's just dust, but we got these notifications, motion notifications from the garage so many times, and it didn't look like dust. It looked like that particular video that I just showed you, and I know what dust looks like, but this just seems different. A lot of these things were always happening in the house that I kind of like got used to them, but there was one particular time that I was so scared, guys. I remember that me and Jason were in deep sleep, and it almost felt like it was a dream, but it was not a dream. It actually happened. We were in deep sleep, and all I remember hearing is like from a very far away, I heard wee wee. It's so hard to describe that noise. It was very loud, very fast paced. And I remember I opened my eyes. I remember looking at Jason, and Jason had already gotten up from the bed. He was almost to the restroom when the noise just stopped. It completely stopped. We looked at each other and we were like, what just happened? We knew we weren't going crazy because we both heard the same thing, and it was so loud that it woke us up. It turns out it was our smoke detector that went off, guys. There was no smoke, but it did smell like burnt. There was nothing in the room. It was the middle of the night, guys. We were in deep sleep. What could have possibly made our smoke detector go off? After that, guys, I was so spooked, so scared. I did not go to sleep. I stayed awake the rest of the night because that one time I was actually so scared. We would also always get Ring notifications for movement in the driveway. There was one time where I opened the app to check the motion, and I freaked out when I saw this. It almost looked like it was a person standing there and then just disappeared. This would always happen. The way that you saw the clip that I just showed you, it would happen a lot of the times. It would be either on the right side of the driveway or the left side, but it happened pretty often. Liam also started sleepwalking out of the nowhere. It was so weird. It was getting so bad, guys, to the point where one day we were sleeping. We were all sleeping upstairs. Liam was sleeping in his room. We were sleeping in our room. And we wake up to our alarm system going off. I had never experienced the alarm going off in the middle of the night. I jump out of bed. Jason jumps out of bed, and we're like, what is going on? Jason's phone starts ringing immediately. It's the alarm company. They're like, sir, is everything okay? Is everything fine? Do you need the police to go over? The lady's on the phone. The alarm is going off. We look down the stairs and we see Liam standing in the middle of the living room, wrapped in a blanket. I am thinking, what is going on? I am scared. I am like, there's someone in the house. Liam is downstairs. I don't understand what's going on. Liam rushes up the stairs to where we are, and we're like, Liam, what is going on? Like, what happened? Like, you know, at the same time, the lady's still on the phone. Sir, are you okay? Are you okay? We have these locks on the doors where if you were to unlock the door, it still does not open because it has another lock on top. We did this on purpose for security reasons for the boys, and thank God we did, because that one time it actually did come in hand. Liam was sleepwalking, and he says that he could have sworn he saw us outside. Keep in mind, it is in the middle of the night, guys. It is pitch black outside, and he says, I saw you guys outside. I saw you through the window, and that is why I opened the door to go outside with you guys. We were never outside. We were sleeping, and the only reason that we knew no one had gotten in is because there's no way you can unlock the lock that we had on top of the door from the outside. You would have to unlock it from the inside. So yes, the lock was unlocked, but the extra lock that we had on top, that was still secured in place. I still remember that like if it was yesterday. It was so chaotic. There was so much going on. I also don't know if you guys didn't notice, but there was a time where I would post a lot of ASMRs very frequently, and then I would post an ASMR here and there. Long story short, I stopped being very consistent with my ASMRs, and that is because when I would film my ASMRs, I would always film my ASMRs in the middle of the night. I would always wait for the boys to be asleep, so I would always end up filming like at 1 a.m. Sometimes I would start at 2 a.m., finish at 4 a.m. It was always like super late at night. Now, when I would film my ASMRs, I would turn everything off, the AC off, everyone was already asleep, so the house was like super quiet. A lot of the times, guys, I would hear stuff because I had the mic on, I had my headphones, so I could hear everything. And I remember one time I was filming an ASMR and I heard a voice in the background, guys. I'm gonna try my best to find that clip. I heard a voice in the background. It almost sounded like if it was a woman talking. I got so scared. If I'm able to find that clip, I think you can see the fear in my face because I was just like, what was that? Who was that? We would also hear our backyard gate pretty frequently sound like it was being opened. Now, the way that the layout of the house was is our bedroom was here and our gate was on the other side of the wall. So we could hear if someone was trying to open the gate or someone attempted to cross the gate. Now, we would hear this pretty frequently, like the gate wanting to be open. We had a lock, and it got to the point where we had to buy a Ring camera and we had to install it on the side of the house to point directly to the gate because we were like, someone is trying to open it. Like someone is trying to open it. But after we put the Ring camera, it would still happen. But when we would play it live, it was no one. There was literally no one. I will tell you one thing that I always found very strange is that my roses or flowers in general in the old house would never last me more than a day, max 2 days. I tried everything, guys. Like I would take flowers to my beauty room, they would die instantly. I would put flowers around the house and I would put them in the dining table. In the dining table, they would last me top maybe 2-3 days. It came to the point where I was like, maybe there's not enough sunlight in my house. So I would open all of my windows so the sunlight could hit the flowers, yet they still wouldn't last. And things would break so frequently. Like I could be washing dishes and like I would have a good grip of something and then suddenly it would just like slip out of my hand and it'll break. The boys would be grabbing something and something will break. We would be doing something and something suddenly would just fall and break. I'm gonna be completely honest, guys. I feel like the exact same way how I felt when I first moved into my old home is how I felt when I first moved into the house. I honestly think that the ghost followed me to the new home and we caught it on camera. This happened when we were in the moving process. We were bringing all the stuff from the old house here into the new house, and I don't even know how I came across this clip. I was just randomly looking through the camera and I saw it and I was like, I still look at that clip and I can't wrap my head around what exactly that is. You guys see it, right? I'm not the only one. And all of this was happening while we were moving. We were bringing the things from the old house into the new home. Now, in the old house, like I said, I was always hearing noises. So I was always the last one to go to bed. And I would always stay up on my phone super late at night, but I would always turn my volume all the way down. I remember one night I was just scrolling through my phone and I heard someone like screaming, crying, but it sounded like it was very far away. So I decided to go to my Ring app when I heard this. To me, that sounds like someone is crying. Do you hear that as well, or do you hear something else? But we would always hear just random noises. That one time I was able to catch it on camera. Something that always did scare me about the house, I'm not even gonna lie, was the stairs. The way that the house is laid out is our master bedroom was here, the stairs were here, and you had to pass through the stairs and able to go to the rest of the house and able to go to the living room, the kitchen, and the entryway, the office, the restroom, all of that. I always felt like someone was staring at me. I literally got the chills right now. I was so thirsty so many times during the night, but I would not go to the kitchen because I was scared to pass through the stairs, because I would have to pass through the stairs like this, and I would always feel like there was someone watching, like being on top watching down on me. And I was always scared that if I would look up I would see someone, because the stairs were like pitch black, like there was no light up there. I really wish that the first video would have not been corrupted, because I went through the whole house room by room, showed you guys the attic, the stairs, everything. I'm really sad and bummed out that that video got corrupted, but if you guys want me to go back to the old house, I can definitely do that. We can also go back with ghost equipment. If you guys really want to do that, we can go room by room. If you guys want me to go back to the old house, like this video, let's get it to 10,000 likes. But the stairs was something that always like scared me, and people would say that all the time. Like when we would have guests over, like people would be like, aren't you scared of the stairs? Like I feel like someone would be watching me from up there. And I would always laugh it out and be like, no, like, you know, that's crazy. But in my head I was like, no, yeah, same, because yes, that happens to me all the time at night. But yeah guys, that is the update on the old house. I tried to get as much footage as I could, but of course there was a lot of times where things would happen in the middle of the night. I would get spooked. I wouldn't even think of grabbing my phone and recording. I don't have a camera recording 24/7, but I did try my best to get as much footage as I could. Again, if you guys want me to go back to the old house, and if you guys want me to show you the layout of the house where everything took place and go back with ghost equipment, let's get this video to 10,000 likes. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all the love and all support. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.